All right, and we are recording. I thought there was a little countdown. Um, I was thinking that there was like a 3 second countdown. Anyways, I'm
Oh yeah,
Austin Light with American Demon Comics, and I'm joined by my good friend Brandon Ingram with Dismay Comics. How are you doing, Brandon?
doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I things have. It's been about 3 weeks since we've done an episode. Things have been busy on both our fronts. Finally had the first convention of the year for me.
Oh, how'd
Um,
that go?
it was overall good time, but vendor wise, it was underwhelming just because I
Mm-hmm.
did this convention last year. Um,
You had
and
expectations.
yeah, like last year it went great. This year, I think there's a couple factors of why it was so slow because it wasn't just like me and Tio that witnessed this. It was like all vendors were talking about it. Um, yeah, like foot traffic, wasn't a lot. It was a Saturday, Sunday convention. And I don't know why they did this. They didn't do this last year. They decided to go to 7 p.m. Um,
Mm-hmm.
which in all the conventions that I've went to, unless you're doing like a horror, scary experience type thing around that time, don't go to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Because people like are done and leaving by 5 p.m. in terms of like customer
Mm-hmm.
and honestly it's before that. It's usually before 4 p.m.
Right.
People are already left. Uh to where yeah, it was 7 p.m. but almost all us vendors left between 5 and 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Um
I like going a little bit later, but, like,
yeah.
typically by 6, it's dead. Like, I want it
Yeah.
I wish that there was kind of a nightlife that kinda came around, but I think there's an expectation with conventions where it's like, "Okay, there's not gonna be much going on by the time we get there at 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
so let's just
It,
not."
it's one of those things where if you're going to go to 7, you need to schedule stuff
Right.
like to that time
You
rather I
gotta
mean
have
like
your competitions, your
yeah,
scary stuff,
which
your
you can have
workshop.
that like early on, but some of the workshops, some of the panels,
Mhm.
but not just that, like some big attractive thing needs to be at like 6 p.m. or something
Mhm.
that keeps people there or has people coming there at 5 or 6 p.m. Um,
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing I've seen, and I definitely saw it with this convention. But so aside from that, the going too late for a convention like this, um, another issue was advertisement wasn't great compared to last year.
Mhm.
Last year, the advertisement was phenomenal, and I could see that. Like Facebook, Instagram, they were advertising this thing like 3 to 4 months ahead of time last year. This year, and I won't entirely fault them, there's a lot of management changes in terms of conventions that they're possibly going to do this year. And they didn't even have the date nailed down till like a month and a half before the convention.
Wow.
Or because before it was supposed to be March 16th and 17th. That's what it was scheduled for before. And
Mhm.
in like a month and a half before the convention, they announced the new date change, which was March 23rd to 24th, like a month
Damn.
and a half before it. Um, and it wasn't till like a month before the convention where they started advertising. And even then, compared to last year's advertising, it wasn't as great of advertising.
Mhm.
And then another downside is it was in Mobile, and that weekend, the March 23rd, 24th weekend, on the 24th, there was a huge like Easter thing that was going on near that area where,
Mhm.
where a lot of the city was kind of going to. So Sunday was like pretty dead.
Right.
But overall, it was a good time with like me and Tio. Like that's a thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to any convention, I'm not just talking about this one being not that great. Any convention, I don't want to do by myself.
Mhm.
Convention by myself seems like the ultimate nightmare. Like not in terms of like a confidence thing, but more just like be so boring.
Yeah.
It would be so boring because with any convention, there's those lull periods. There's those
Mhm.
time where there's not much foot traffic. Um, and if you don't have someone to like just talk to and just goof off with or whatever, like, and I'm also not an artist, so during that downtime, I can't like like draw something. So I'm just sitting there. So it'd be extremely boring if I was by myself. Um,
Mhm.
so convention wasn't great compared to last year, but at least I had To and some other people to talk to help pass the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always a fun experience to just like get to goof off for a little bit, meet fans, like have
Yeah,
like
yeah,
create fans or people get,
yeah,
uh kind of invested in what you make, and even if it's just one person or something, it's really fun.
yeah. Like we had great interactions with like the amount of people that were there. We did have great interactions. There was one guy that like loved our stuff and
Mhm.
like he really liked the Dismay Avenue #2 cover with the girl
Yeah.
going like that. And he was like, "Man, like you guys have like a movie poster size thing of that? Like I want that. Like come on." I
Mhm.
was like, sorry, man, I don't have that." But yeah,
Maybe
he
you
was
could
like
keep an eye
just
out on the Kickstarter.
yeah, yeah, he was like all in on our stuff. But no, it was fun with the interactions we had with the people that were there. Tio and I came up with multiple stupid ideas that might make it into a comic one day. But
Yeah, see, working on the clock there, so.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
um well, the Paracon, I can't remember if you said that you were uh iffy about going, and I can't remember if it was like about the dates or what it was, but they have changed the date now.
And that's the thing is like the original dates I had looked within the past 3 weeks and I was like, ooh, might be able to do that. But the new date change, I'm not going to be able to do.
Oh, damn. Yeah, it is on the 14th of September,
Yeah, I
15th.
think like 14, 15.
Um, so I'm trying to figure out what kind of workshop I might do. They're asking if I want to do like photo ops and signatures and stuff like that. It's like I just don't charge for signatures. Like, um, I don't. I just didn't. I didn't go to conventions with. Originally when I started going, most people I met weren't charging $40 for a signature. So
Yeah, yeah.
I
At
just
least
don't
like
want.
even
That's
even the
so gross to
big
me.
indie guys aren't like charging for signature.
Hmm.
And even like some of the pro comic people. Like I went to Fan Expo last year and like there's some of them that aren't charging for signatures.
Right.
Um
Well, I haven't met many artists or creators in that capacity, but like the voice actors and
yeah, yeah,
actual
yeah.
actors and um, those kind of guests tend to have a very high uh, monetary rate,
Yeah.
monetary
And
bar to get through.
I get they do have to make their money. Most of them are like invited there, but it's beyond just like, hey, I'm here. Hey, my meals might be free or whatever. Like it is like
Hmm.
I got to make a little something. So I get that. But then there are some where it's like, I'm not trying to besmirch your name, sir, but like I don't think you're as big as you think you are. Charging $100 for a signature, $200 for a
Hmm.
signature and photo or whatever.
See, Gus, the guy that does Gus, was at the Birmingham convention last year, and that
Mm.
was the only person that I was going to be like, okay, I might fork over some cash to do
Yeah,
get a
he's a big
picture with. That's
actor,
the
so
only person. I didn't even. I didn't pay anything to J. Michael Tatum. But again, J. Michael Tatum, back when I very first saw him, was doing signatures for free. And it's like,
Mm.
I understand if maybe you go up to charging people $5 or $10 for that kind of thing, because you got a line of people, just a constant line of people coming through. Um, and if your rates were at five or an affordable rate, um, that would I think that that would generate revenue and be okay. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
um, but to charge any more than 20 or $30 for anything, to me, like, just even a picture, is just absurd. Like, that's
Yeah, yeah. Like me personally, I don't care about spending that type of money on signatures or
mhm.
pictures, but I do understand there are people that are like,
The
"Oh,
conventions
like
need to pay them.
$60 to get a picture with so and so? That's a steal." Like I do get there are people that are like that. But yeah,
Right.
I don't really care about that stuff.
Um, I don't know. I think conventions, because I know conventions pay people that come,
Yeah,
unless that
yeah.
they've just all of a sudden had some kind of policy change where they're like, okay, you can come and we'll pay for this and that, but you actually got to get your revenue through your own signatures and branding and stuff like that.
That's
That
some
would
of the
be
celebrities.
s- that would be so. I'd be like, no, like,
Yeah.
if I've got products to sell, like I do,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. That's different. But if I've got just these prints that somebody else printed and they're only just for me to have something to put my stupid little name on.
Yeah, you just a little scribble real quick.
Anyways, rant over. Um, I was really hoping you could make it to the Bearcon this year. I'm really trying to get other people to go down. Um, and I think with the date change, I personally like it. We are going to the When We Were Young festival in Vegas. Excuse me, at the end of October, and I didn't want to have two events like really close.
Mm.
Um, so
Yeah, I might I gotta see. I might be able to do like Weevil Con maybe. Like I need to just message them because they don't really have a whole lot about it on their website.
mhm.
I need to message them and see. I forgot what the table rate was. I think it was decent rate, but I'll have to see.
The only reason I'm doing WeevilCon is because I had paid for the table last year
Okay.
and
And it
they
carried over.
rescheduled. And
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so um the people at the Paracon last year were really excited to like saying that I should go and I should do this con and stuff. But now, after having a little bit more experience and doing a few more cons and um just having that build up, it's kind of telling me like, I don't know if, but getting another hotel room and um,
yeah,
doing this drive and spending this weekend down there is going to be, helpful. But it might be. The Paracon was really awesome last year, and that I had to do all that stuff for it too. Had to get a room and um, pay for my food and the trip down there and trip back. Um, but it was just one of those things where it was just like, I can't not love this convention. Like,
yeah, yeah,
it's just so up my alley.
yeah. Like there's
Um,
one I might do it's the week after Paracon. It's I think it's called like South Alabama Con or something. Um, I don't know if a MobiCon is happening this year because there's all these changes of management and stuff. So MobiCon might not be happening, but like South Alabama convention is happening and it's in Mobile. I might do that. That's like late September. But other than that, the two that I know I'm doing, and one's not even a convention, is in April, or it's April now, like 2 or 3 weeks from now.
mhm.
There's one in South Mississippi that's like 2.5 hours from me.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that a lot. One, it's free for
Yeah.
for us exhibitors. Like you sent in like application stuff, and they'd pick it out and all that.
Mhm.
Um, but and it's also ran by their local library. It's not in the library. It's in like a civic center, but it's ran by the local library. So kind of like books at least.
Mhm.
Uh, but it's a mix of stuff, and they chose very well. There's like, including myself, this is the first time I've seen in like a small convention in this area. There's at least 4 or 5 other comic creators slash publishers
Really?
at this one, and that's rare. Usually, I see like me and 1 or 2 more. Like that's
Yeah.
usually about it. Um, if that, like the one I went
Mhm.
to like a week or two ago was just us. Um, but yeah, there's that, and I don't know. They divide it up pretty good. They have like even amount of art stuff, even amount of like book author stuff, even
Mhm.
amount of comic creators. I don't know. I'm looking forward to that. At the very least, it'll be good networking. It's
Right.
more comic people. It's hard to find comic people at these conventions.
Yeah. Um, yeah, dude, I don't find a lot of comic people. I do like to try to make note of different artists, and
Yeah, yeah,
I love making connections that just do not seem like they have like anything like really to do with each other, but like
yeah, yeah,
but it's helpful. Like I there's this guy Dimitri that does paintings by Dimitri, and he's always at like a low mill location or at any of the local conventions. I think he's been at the past 3 conventions I've done, 3 or 4, and he's just a super cool guy, really awesome to talk to. He makes really cool paintings, pop culture kind of paintings, um, and uh, maybe in the future I'll have him do uh, a cover,
yeah, yeah,
for the comic. He does acrylic painting and oil painting, so he that might be kind of cool to have that. And then I shot him the offer to like the opportunity that the Paragon is offering. If he wants to set up down there, it would be very much up his alley, like
yeah, yeah,
super up his alley of people that would like his stuff. Um, And he was like, "Yeah, that sounds great. I think I have some family down there. Blah blah. I'm gonna go check that out." And it's like, you know, if I can get him to go down there, he's probably gonna get at least 5 to 10 other people to attend down
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Um, so that's like a good networking situation, I think. Um,
Oh yeah, and like I meet artists and all kinds of creators, and at the very least, we follow each other on social media, and sometimes conversations go from there. But I know Tio because eventually he wants to make his own comic, and he's taken the business cards. He's stacking them up. He's like, maybe one day this person do this cover or this person do that sort of thing. So
yeah.
it's all good.
Well, I'm going to segue that. We're almost 20 minutes in. I've updated my setup here a little bit. I put this shelf
Nice.
together, and I've got my Annie Mikasa shrine going on right here. Um, this is amazing. It's in low resolutions, but it's Mikasa right here, and Annie kind of in the background of her.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, it- uh, Standy, I think, is what it is. Um, there's not a whole lot of Annie merch um, to come across. Not a lot of Annie figures, uh, but I get what I can get. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
my girlfriend had got me several of these for my birthday. I've got large Attack on Titan Colossal editions down here. I don't remember if I showed them before,
Nice.
but I've got them organized, and then I've got my regular Attack on Titans, and then my omnibus is up here, and then I got the Junji Ito and Soul Eater stuff.
Nice.
So, and then I got my study books up. at the top, the Necronomicon and the Lesser Keys of Solomon, and so this shelf has been really cool. I was like kind of excited to have it in the background because it's like it's been trash over here for a long time, and now I kind of updated it. And um, aside from my laundry and that, it's all right. Came unplugged there.
You're
No,
good.
I'm not in underwear. I'm in shorts. Um, I want to like kind of make the wall a little bit more presentable
Oh
over
yeah, yeah.
here. So I got my signed uh, poster uh, up there by the Annie voice actor. Uh, I'm on all over this blanket. Okay. Um, and all over my mic. Oh my god. Anyway, uh, so I just wanted to show off that little update. Um, and then I
Yeah.
wanted to segue into I reached out to Adam Caswell. So speaking of like all the networking and getting artists and hired and everything, um, and he's done the excuse me. Um, he's a traditional artist that's done the cover for Bigfoot Knows Karate. Excuse me again. Um, and it's amazing, phenomenal art. Love the inking style. He's got great proportions, great action going on, dynamics in the covers, great expressions. Um,
With the Bigfoot
and
knows karate, the reason I mentioned because I just grabbed it because it was on my bed. My setup right here is not a desk. This is my manga shelf. So like
whoa.
everything below my waist is just a bunch of manga. And I had to move. I had books on top of this. I had to move those and set the laptop on. Um, but do you know the specific cover he did for the first Bigfoot knows karate? Because I
Um,
don't know. I don't know if this is the one he did or not. I'm not sure. I
I
if
he very well could. I think he might have done several of them.
yeah, like I know he's like uh very much a part of that series. Let me just see because
Like I think he's
want to.
done a lot of covers for them.
Let me see. Yeah. Okay. So this is the variant
It
cover
looked like him.
deluxe edition. So yeah, this is Adam Caswell. I just wanted to make sure because of all of the Bigfoot Knows Karate covers, this is my favorite. Like this
Yeah.
thing is freaking awesome.
Well, I probably shouldn't say this, uh, in case he's listening, but I was like concerned about asking him. I was like, "Oh man, so what do you charge?" And I was like, "Please don't say 1,000. Please don't say 1,000. Please don't say 1,000." And he's like, "Oh, I charge 200." I was like, "Thank God."
That's good.
I was like, "Really? Okay." Um, so I'll probably pay him more, but I did go ahead and pay him what he charges, and I'm looking forward to the cover
And
for
that's the thing. His
MPG.
covers are so good to where like it's completely up to you regarding like colors or not. But I love just like his pencils and inks. Like his
Hmm.
inks are like really good. I think this is another one. Let me make sure. Um, I'm pretty sure this is him. This is like a wraparound cover
Yeah,
for issue
yeah, that's
2
him.
of Bigfoot Knows Karate. Like, I don't know. I mean stuff like this. Like, don't color this like that.
Hmm.
Let those inks speak for themselves.
He's done Lady Spawn. Sent me one of that, and asked if I wanted to color it, and I just can't do that. I might color. We'll just have to see what it's like, you know.
Mhm.
And I try to give him free reign uh, on all that because I want him to do what he likes to do. I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't pick him for an anime style. I didn't pick him for an impressionist style. I didn't pick him for any particular other than I just think that he's really good. So just
Yeah.
you know. Um, but it sounds like that when he does work, he gets a style request like, can you do it in such and such way? Which doesn't make any sense to me because if you like an artist, that then you don't want to. It's like I really like this art. I want XYZ in this
Yeah,
art,
yeah.
but I want them to do it in anime style. It's like,
Yeah,
then you're
yeah.
not getting it in that art. Like,
And also, yeah, if there's a specific type of art style you're looking for, go for an artist that does that art style.
right.
Yeah, it's like what you're saying. If you're getting that artist, like you should be getting them for their unique style.
Hmm.
Um, but that's awesome because anytime I'm doing like the call for artists and stuff, like I have a specific style I'm looking for. And if
Hmm.
someone like matches that, that's who I go with rather than like picking someone out of the blue and being like, "Hey, I know you do this style, but I want you to do this style instead."
Hmm. It's as an artist myself, it's kind of frustrating because um it's like I don't have a problem with being asked to do that, but I sometimes can't like gauge it myself. I'm like, is this too
Mm,
much my style, or is it enough anime style? If whatever's requested.
yeah.
Um, but I sent him the contract, and we signed off on it. I edited a few things, but I was like, dude, if you want to promote this on social media, promote your progress, promote the full thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Just credit you me for the project, and I'm going to credit you. If you send me stuff to post, I'm going to be shooting it out there like crazy. And he's like, yeah, it's never really made any sense to me not to do it that way
Yeah, yeah.
because some people make me not like post um what I'm doing and what I'm working on because to me it seems like a win-win. And I was like, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
a win-win just to show
Like the
everybody.
only reason I see like times to not do that is if like we're trying to keep things under wrap for possibly like going through a different publisher. I
Hmm.
get that, but if you're publishing it yourself, like why not ramp up that hype for it
Hmm.
like while the art is going on?
Right. So that's exciting. I'm excited to see what he does. He's already done some sketches. He's trying to get a feel for like what my characters look like, and so that he can put them down. I had to make up some characters on the spot uh, last week when I was writing because I have not considered some of the characters, and I had a panel where it's supposed to show more of the characters, and I was like, I don't have characters for this character shot. Like, so I was starting to like roughly sketch some because like I know like Paimon's gonna be in the story. I know that Beelzebub or Baal is gonna be in the story. I just have never made them before, so I
Yeah,
had
yeah.
to, like, um, but right now, an update. I'm gonna segue over to Envy. Now, Envy 2 is going to be probably 20 or 15 pages longer. 15, 16-ish pages, somewhere in that area, from what it's looking like, which is great. Just to, again, the total volume of the pages is what's going to kind of matter uh, in the long run, not like the issue size per issue.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm really excited about it, and I just got to writing, and I wrote and I wrote, and then I started thumbnailing. And as I thumbnailed, I was like, I've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I was like, I'm not even done yet. Like,
Yeah.
so um, but Envy's been on pause for, I think this will be the second week. I do have another page ready to go. I'm thinking I might hold off on it though. I might try and build up a little bit more of the story. Excuse me. Or get a page ahead because I fell behind when I kind of got used to getting those pages going, and then I ran into a page that took double the time, and so now I got behind again. And then I also had not caught up the writing and the script and everything to that point. So working on all that, but I think I'm going to get page ahead or 2 pages ahead, and then the next few pages, the next is going to be is a battle. And so kind of like what Kevin Stokes has done. He's doing a project with Robbie, that does the pop culture philosophers thing.
Yeah.
They His action scenes are very fast, but they're very broad on the page because
Mm.
you have so much action that you just want to like put the energy behind in your art. So I have ended up with like 4 or 5 pages of just a fight. um, so I don't know how I'm going to release that, because if I'm doing 1 page a week, or 2 pages a week, it's still going to be like just a fraction of the fight happening. And I'm wondering if I should just get past the fight in my page creation.
You're
Um,
talking about, like, in terms of releasing on social media?
yeah.
Yeah, maybe wait for the whole fight to be done. It's almost
hmm
like I like to write action, but my brain's too focused on comedy. If there's a joke that's playing out or a bit that's playing out and it consists of more than one page, like to for someone to fully get the joke or the bit where it's like 2 or 3 pages, I usually don't like to just put the first page because it's like, oh, I just gave you the setup.
Right.
And now you're sitting on it for a day or a week. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And then once I post that other one, you're going to completely forget about the setup to
Yeah.
where like that next page makes no sense at all.
hmm What I don't like is Instagram has like a 10 page or 10
Hmm.
post limit, and that messes me up because I can post up to 20 panels at a time.
Hmm.
And I like, now as my story's going along, I like to have like what happened the last 2 weeks, like 1 or 2 panels that briefly kind of shows what happened in the last few pages, and then the title, and then the rest of the next page, and then an end card for my plug.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and that could be uh, 12, 13, 18, images. And then Instagram doesn't let me, you know, do that.
yeah,
And it's frustrating because I can do it on Reddit, I can do it on TikTok, I can do it on Facebook. Um,
yeah. To where Instagram has it now, like you, because you have that you have, I forgot, at the end you do have like the envy tag. At the beginning, do you have something, or is it panel
um,
right at the beginning?
so at first I would put the envy title at the end, and then I
Mhm.
moved it to doing it at the beginning. But if I do it at the beginning, that's the thumbnail for everything. It's not really eye catching. It's just envy. So
Yeah, yeah,
now I put, like I said, I kind of set it up with like what previously happened, like last time on, and
yeah, yeah. Okay.
that's kind of will be an eye catcher, and then envy comes after that. Just kind of like a a full episode of something. Last
Yeah,
time
yeah,
on, opening scene, opening song and credits. and then
And
the
that's
story.
that's the perfect way to do it. What sucks with Instagram that you're talking about is like if you factor that in and then Instagram's limits, you're limited to 7 new images or 7 new
Right.
panels basically, which yeah, that and like up to 7. Like yeah.
Um, Sometimes that's doable, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I have a 3-panel page, sometimes I have a 8-panel page. I like to go with the flow of how I'm just making it.
Yeah, yeah.
So um, part of me is like, maybe I should try to put more emphasis in thinking about how this is going to be composed, like as an entire page. And then part of me is going, crank them out, crank them out, crank them out.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
just don't don't worry about the that you just get better as you go. Just start cranking them out. Like so. Uh, and I do like I think um I've been working on this page where Michael makes his debut, and Michael looks fucking sick. Like he looks good. Um, so it's like, but I'm also really spending my time on that page. But like they do get a little bit better with me getting a little bit faster,
Mm.
and so I'm kind of like trying to balance how I should just be doing that. But anyways, uh, I don't um that's kind of like a redundant topic that might come up all the time, so I don't want to like be fleshing that out
No,
unless
you're
you have
good.
some.
No, it's a we all even as a writer, I face various things. The current thing I'm facing is uh which I'm okay with this. I am right now more in editor mode than writer mode. Like I haven't
Mhm.
I haven't written like a new story in probably since last time we talked maybe.
Mhm.
Because working on Gallows Man number 3, Dismay Avenue number 3, uh the 2 other projects, Curbsided, A Day at the Con, with all these artists and editing. And because it's 4 different projects, it's emails come in every day, like for different projects, but it's like a
Mhm.
cycle. But I love it because I love seeing these
Yeah.
pages come to life. Uh, the slight downside is like any new writing has to kind of sit on the back burner. Um, at least I feel like after this week, I'll be able to finally do some new writing because yes, there's the editing part, but that doesn't take super long. But then there's also we've talked about a million times are jobs that pay,
Mhm.
which like
Yeah.
that takes time as well as family time and stuff. So uh, things have been really busy this week, the past couple weeks, but I think next week I can finally write something and hopefully it's not that's also another thing I run into of me trying to get back into writing is like, well, just write, just write something. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be good, just get back into it. Um, but and when I say it doesn't have to be that good, also it's like it can be short. It can be a 2 or 3 pager,
Yeah.
which sometimes it can, but I have stories already plotted out for uh, a day at the fair
Mhm.
that I need to write, and I know none of those are like less than 10-page stories. So jumping back into something like that, even though that's not that long, but jumping back in uh, on like writing a full issue can sometimes be tough for me. But if I can just jump back in, I'll be
Yeah.
geared into it. Once that
Well,
first story's done, I'm sucked back in.
sometimes you need to be in that editor mode.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes things take that editing time. And I really I sometimes don't know how well I'm editing or not editing. Um and this goes back to just my writing in general. I don't know how well my writing is. A lot of people are saying my writing's good, it's at least that. Um, and uh, I've I have a lot of fun when I've written out my script and then my I usually don't edit the script straight off. I just write it and go a few pages and write it, and then
Mhm.
when I go to thumbnail it, that's when more editing happens. So start thumbnailing the panels and start seeing where they're going to go. And I next to it, I'm like, okay, here's panel X. They're going to say this, and as I write that down, I might go, I don't know if they're going to say that. Like, I don't know if
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes sense. Maybe I need to word this differently. Um, and then I'll write something that's a little bit better, and I'm like, yes, that kind
yeah,
of fits them a little bit more. But it might be like a day or two before I get to that part of editing, and I probably wouldn't have noticed that doing it on the same day. Like if I
yeah,
went from script to storyboard on the same day, I probably wouldn't have edited anything. Um, and then a few days later, I get ready to make the actual page pencils. I start doing pencils for the page. And as I do that, I might edit the script a little bit more. And then as I put it, scan them, and then have them digitally, and I'm ready to put in the dialogue bubbles, it might get edited one more time. So
yeah, yeah.
I don't I don't know if that's how editing should work. I don't know if I'm supposed to, like maybe I have an alternative like route in the story completely that I should be thinking about, or if the editing I'm doing for just the script and the characters is enough. Like,
I'll say at the very least with the dialogue editing, like I do that all the time with my stuff. Like not just like script. Like yes, I have the script. Maybe I've read it multiple times, and it's like okay, this looks good. Then when an artist goes through it and they're doing the page layouts, they're doing the pencils, they're doing the inks. I'm then taking notes because I like how this character looks on this page, but the line I originally had, I don't know would entirely fit in terms of pacing or
hmm
whatever it may be to where like yeah, like there's I'm when I get to the letterer stage, like I've already went through pencils and inks, like a penciler and inker, went through a colorist, and now I'm with a letterer. Right before I send it to the letterer, I make all these dialogue changes. Now the whole
hmm
script doesn't change, but there's I don't know. I'd say with each of my comics, once I get to the letterer, there's likely out of every 2 pages, at least one word balloon change or one placement change. Sometimes it's more. I'm just trying to think at the very least, there's one dialogue change every 2 pages
hmm
for a comic. Um, so I say all that to say, like, even to what could seem like close to the very end, editing is still a thing.
hmm Um, yeah, I kind of enjoy it because I'll see like, oh, my character would say this differently, and then when I kind of hit the mark on like what they would say, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that fits. Or maybe it's a callback to like how they spoke, they have spoke before. Envy always says, "Do please," like continue, "Do please," and if I fit that in at not too frequently, but enough that it kind of gives her a little bit more of an identity. It's really fun to like see that kind of come to fruition. Um, but uh, I do want to. I think we're gonna push some things off to. Oh, okay. I was like episode 12. Oh, 12 of American Dismay. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna push some things off to next time. Like meeting Brock and Robbie. Um, we will uh, I'll probably try and hang out with him a few more times. We've got into the same friend group Go figure.
Makes sense.
So, and watch a little bit more of the pop culture philosophers. What I really want to go over, what I have to get off my chest right now, is I watched VHS 2,
Mm.
and I don't know if I would say it was better. I think that there was a lot of things that they budgeted, um, that made it better, as far as like the scale of what they did and the quality of what they did and everything. Um, the cult one, the cult tape.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
that that one had me. It was like it was kind of interesting, and there's body horror, and it was like pretty decently written, and there was this cult leader that was just like, what is he doing? Like, oh my god. And then the monster comes out, and the monster's he's so good. It's so good. And then there's this chase, this car chase. You see the camera down in the car, and the guy's freaking out. And then the car flips over, and you hear the roar of the monster. And then the monster's like on the car, and it's like, and it sticks its head over, and then it says Papa.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It says Papa.
I
Oh
remember
my
I
god,
remember the
it
head.
lost me.
I
I was
remember
like,
the head looking weird whenever it pops over the
it
the
was
car. I
weird, but it
remember
was
it
like
just
in a
like,
good, weird, like in
yeah, yeah,
horror way, I think.
yeah. I forgot it
Oh
said
my god,
Papa. Yeah.
this was the apocalyptic monster of this world, and it
Its
goes up to
first
this
word.
guy that seeded it or whatever, and it says Papa. Like, you lost everything that you built up. Everything was gone.
Trying to think. There's a as they go along, the VHS movies go along, there are
Mhm.
some good short films, and there's some that go. I still like these, but there's some that go like the somewhat dumb, campy route of that almost. They're fun though, but I will say as the series goes along, some of the shorts get more dumb.
Yeah. I had to talk about that. I think, I guess like the now that I think about it a little bit more, they don't take themselves too seriously. Like
Yeah, yeah,
they're just in it for the fun.
yeah,
But I mean, the cult one had so much good build up though.
yeah, yeah,
Like it had I don't know, as a demonic writer myself, I
yeah, yeah.
see so much potential with that, and and they just flushed it down the toilet.
Papa.
So, um, the zombie one, I can't really remember too many of the other ones. I know that they
The
had a
zombie one
zombie
was
one.
that they're in like a or he's like riding his
He's
bike
riding his
and that's when the
bike.
okay, so
Yeah.
that one like is like dumb fun at the
Mhm.
I like the idea of like GoPro first person zombie apocalypse happening and
Mhm.
the GoPro strapped to a zombie.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was unique,
That
and I
was a
liked
new that was a unique, cool
disturbing
thing.
the birthday party and all that stuff in the woods. That was fun.
The, uh I don't know. There was too much consciousness in those zombies. You know what I
Mm-mm.
mean?
Yeah,
Like
because he,
there was
like,
too
stares
much
in
like
the window
reaction.
or whatever.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like they were reacting to things that like
Yeah, yeah.
you wouldn't your traditional zombie wouldn't. But
Yeah,
anyways,
there's still a
it
little
was
bit of the
cool.
person in there.
Yeah. the the aspect of it was or the
Concept.
concept of it was pretty good.
I'm
Um,
trying to remember what the other ones were
I can't.
in that. I know the Alien one. I'm not a big fan of
Oh
the
my
Alien one. It was
god,
okay.
that one I forgot.
Yeah, of all the ones, that's the one I don't really like of the
Yeah,
ones in VHS two.
yeah. Oh my god. That one also had like good potential and like good build up. But when
Mm.
they were getting chased by those dumb zombies, like they were like mindless wendigos or something. Like that's what
Yeah,
they
yeah,
more reminded me of out of a video game or something than like aliens.
yeah,
Aliens aren't gonna like chase you like that. They're just gonna zap you or levitate you or
yeah.
you know, they're gonna be fast, they're gonna be smart. Um, but yeah, that one was uh not as good, but also a lot of potential.
Okay, I'm looking at the list of the shorts in this one. There's one I don't even remember. Maybe you'll remember. Follows a man who is haunted and stalked by mysterious phantoms after receiving a bionic eye implant.
Oh yeah,
I
that
don't
one was
remember
pretty
this
good.
one.
Yeah, he had a artificial eye put in that could see when he like lost his, but the bionics of the eye was able to like pick up and register uh
Oh, like
ghosts
ghosts. Okay.
and phantoms and it seemed like once they could be seen they didn't like it.
Mm.
They were much more malicious
Is there
once
a pool
they,
in that one?
yeah.
Okay,
And
I think I remember it a
this
little bit.
girl comes over because she had like a hearing bionic implant that could like hear them
Mm.
and uh but excuse me, she kind of was the one to explain that like
Mm.
once you can hear them you can't stop hearing them. Once you can see them they're not going to go away. And like
Oh,
he
okay.
like tried to cut out his eye um because he didn't want to see them anymore at the end, but they still got him
Oh, okay.
uh because the eye the the video was through his eyeball, and
Mhm.
so the eye was like on the counter and you could see like one of the phantoms coming up and getting him. So um another really cool concept. I think it's like all these short concepts could have like their own writing team behind them for something
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you
bigger and
could
better.
with a lot of these, you could see them at the very least being like 40, 45 minute short films. Some of them you could see being like a hour 16 horror
Hmm.
film or whatever. Um, yeah, if you do continue with the series, we'll warn you VHS 3 is okay. It's not great. Um, what I will say after that, like VHS 94, VHS 99, VHS 85, all of those are fun. Horror.
Okay.
It's a good way of saying like
Yeah.
there's some dumb stuff with it.
Yeah.
But those are more like in the fun lane. Whereas like this early stage of VHS, they're not sure if they want to go into super scary horror or add some fun with it. It seems like
Hmm.
they're somewhat mixing both in or trying to find
Right.
out. But that last half of the VHS series, I think they lean more into the fun horror side.
Yeah. I can see that for sure. Like when I think about more about the first VHS too, like it doesn't seem like it's completely and utterly trying to scare you. It's kind of like isn't this like a funny idea too? Like, wouldn't it be kind of
Yeah, yeah.
funny if um one thing I'm not following is like the in between. You get the people
Mm,
like putting in the tape, and then something at the end, something spooky with them happens. And I'm not
yeah.
really following like the story behind that part. Like,
I'm trying to remember. So I think that's one of the only instances where the in betweens are a sequel to something, because I think
hmm
that in between in VHS 2 is a sequel to the in between in VHS 1, where it's like the burglars that break into the house.
hmm
Um, I think whatever happens at the end of VHS 1, like there's a murder or something, I don't remember. Something happens in those in between.
mm,
VHS 2 is them like these investigators going to that house, I think. Or maybe it's a different house. I think that's
hmm
also another thing with all these creepy VHS tapes, because it never really explains like where did these VHS tapes come
right.
from. And I kind of like that. But then I just remembered I think one of the later VHS movies does explain that. I don't like that.
hmm
I like the mystery behind it. Um, but yeah, I think they're just like private investigators trying to figure out, oh, there's like a missing kid or something,
mm,
and he may have been one of the burglars from the first movie. I can't remember. And then I guess
mm.
I don't even remember the
I
all
don't.
of the in between stuff of VHS two. I remember one gets possessed or something, and I think kills the other. I don't remember.
Well, there's always like a dead person in the background or something that like
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
up or something and is like not while the person's watching, they're not paying attention to what's going on behind them, and then like
yeah, yeah.
a whole dead body will like leave,
I think
and
that's
then at
just
the
showing
end
like,
kill them.
oh, there's ghost in here. I think that's all. This place is haunted.
Papa. um, and then I watched Fire in the Sky.
Mm,
I liked it. I feel like I might have watched a piece. I feel like I might have walked in on my parents watching that, and they were like,
mm.
leave, and it was like right where the needle is going towards the eye.
Oh,
They're
dang.
like, go back to your room.
Yeah, that whole scene of the guy, like, when he's, like, rethinking or recounting what happened to him. That whole
Mhm.
alien scene is, like, still one of, like, the scariest alien abduction scenes I've seen in, like, any alien movie.
Yeah. Um, I'm sorry. I'm like,
No, you're good.
yeah, the gas today. I thought it was pretty good. I feel like they gave. So I had heard that story before,
Yeah, yeah.
and um, but when I was watching it, um, I felt like I could weave in where this all could be a hoax. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if they did that on purpose with the movie or not, but when people recite the story, like I listen to Mr. Ballin or like the bedtime stories people like
Yeah,
discuss
yeah.
this, they don't leave a whole lot of room for there to be like holes in it. But when I watched the movie, um I I was like, okay, what if they did try to murder this guy and they just didn't successfully do it?
Yeah,
But he's
yeah.
so traumatized he can't really say that off the bat. Then he's in the hospital and he's alone, and his best friend comes up and is like, "Hey, here's what you're gonna tell him. Okay, you're gonna tell him you got abducted, and this is and you fill in the blanks. Okay, but you got abducted, and we didn't kill you, or we are gonna kill you. And
Yeah, yeah.
in the movie that it seems like they portray it as like a moment to moment, like, oh my god, like where have you been, what did happen, like, but I saw it as like a opportunity before the public gets to this guy that um I don't remember any of their names, but the lead guy is trying to get them to like get their stories to line up.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so um, I don't know. That made me, and this is it's funny because this is a movie. This is you're supposed to believe like you're supposed to believe all of what happened, but like me as somebody who likes to believe in these kind of things is poking holes in it like as I
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
the movie. But it was really cool. I think it was well written and the visuals were really good for the time, and it was that is horrifying getting shrink wrapped to a table and then experimented on. Um, yeah, uh, for me, 7 out of 10.
Pretty solid. Yeah, it's been at least a couple years since I've seen it. What does stick out with me, the whole alien abduction recounting of that's always ingrained in my brain. And then like the general plot, I can't remember like specific images, but I remember the general plot.
Hmm.
Town thinks they murdered him, that sort of stuff. He eventually
Yeah.
comes back, sort of thing.
Um, yeah. We're at an hour. I've updated you on pretty much everything I can think of. Oh, enamel pens have come in.
Nice.
They look pretty good. They're a little bit smaller than I thought they would be. Now, my product is a it's a dagger, so the whole shape of the dagger is not very big. So it also being scrunched down to an inch and a
Mm,
quarter um, makes it look kind of tiny, but it does have all the detail in it, like the
yeah, yeah.
little pentagrams on the hilt. There's little wrappings that look like they go around the handle, and then the pommel has like the ruby look to it. The blood they put at the tip of the blade is very bright, and you can see it. I'm very happy with it, despite it being a little smaller than I envisioned. But
Mm,
um, now I don't have a problem with them being small. It's just that they were 280, 260 to 280 a unit, and I gotta charge like at least $7, seven
yeah.
$8 on that kind of uh, to get a good margin of return for that, and I don't like charging that much for something that's so
Mm,
small. You know what I mean? Um, it is something that's will last. It's a good product. Enamel pens are, uh, a little bit more durable than a sticker, reusable.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
can you can put them on different things. So there is that value in it. I just feel kind of bad for it.
Well, this is just throwing ideas out there. If you're hung up on the price, maybe throwing in something with it, but throwing in something with it where it's not you have to produce or
Hmm.
anything. If you had like like little cards or something with a QR code that's like, oh, like a free digital copy of Envy number one or
Hmm.
something. Or it doesn't have to specifically be Envy number one, but like it's like when you buy enamel pen, you also get
Right,
this or whatever it may be.
right,
But whatever it is, something that doesn't actually cost you anything really.
right. Yeah,
It's more
that's
the
a good idea.
consumer's like, ooh, like this
Yeah,
would
add
this is
on
neat.
like do what I do with the comic. So I usually try and tack on a sticker with the comic for
Mhm.
$1.50 off. So if you buy the comic, you get a sticker
Yeah, yeah,
for to even it out at like $10.
yeah.
So buy a pen, you can also get a sticker, even it out at $10. I like that idea. Oh, I do have a deal where you can get the sticker, or I mean, you can get the comic and the pen for 15. It's just $1 off, but it's still like giving people a
Yeah, yeah.
deal. They want two things, you know. Um, but I'm looking forward to showing that off. My next event is Art on the Lake here in about 2 weeks. Um, I don't know what kind of vibe is going to be at Art on the Lake. Uh, I've never been to it. I've never seen other artists there. I don't know if people sell pins and stickers and that kind of thing. I'm sure people sell prints
Mhm.
or replicas of art at least. I think it'll be a great place to show off um, the cover art, the cover ink um, that I've already done for issue number 2, and show off the penciling and some of my ink portraits that I've done. Other than that, I don't know. I'm like, is it gonna be kosher to like try and sell pens and stuff there? You know,
Yeah, yeah. Is it a one-day event?
it's a 2 day,
Okay. Okay.
but like people might just only be selling original art. But I didn't see anything that said that had rules that were like you can't do XYZ or
Yeah, yeah.
we promote XYZ. So um, again, I'm just gonna try and put out the my original art and then have the other stuff kind of on the side. See what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. I get you.
All right. Any closing thoughts, Brandon?
Um,
Mentions?
let me see. Uh, yeah, none that I can think. What I will say, yeah, convention stuff coming up April 21st. I'm looking forward to that. Even if it's not a lot of foot traffic, I'll at least make connections, and it's free, and it's a one-day thing. That's also another thing is I like the multi-day conventions and stuff,
Hmm.
but in all honesty, I love me a one day
Right.
where I can just
Yeah.
drive there and then like drive there in the morning and then like all of it is completely over in terms of me at home. All my stuff's up by the end of the night.
Hmm.
Um, I I like that.
Yeah.
Not saying I can't be far away from home, but I don't know. I just like the efficiency of that as well as sometimes it does come down to the cost aspect, whether it's
Hmm.
hotels or whatever it may be. Um, and if it is a dead convention or it's slow and boring, and you see that first day, if it's a one day, it's like, hey, it was just one day. Whereas if it's a 2 or 3 day convention and it's slow that first day, it's like, oh boy, time to buckle up for possibly 2 more days of this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a little gruesome when
yeah,
they're like that. Um, when I did the Paracon last year, it kind of gave me hope for Sundays because um, when uh, we did that Sunday, it was at least, you know, a portion of what I did the day before. I think I almost got the same return as the previous day. And so now when I go to a convention, I'm like, I'm gonna stick it out with Sunday. I'm gonna just I'm gonna stick it out and maybe something will happen. And sometimes there's a lot of last minute sales. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
but usually Sundays just don't do what the Saturdays did. So
yeah.
one day is
Especially if
best.
the Sunday thing is on the same day that a big Easter thing is happening. That was a brutal Sunday.
Yeah. Um, all right. Well, it was good catching up with you. I wish you the best on that convention. Can't wait to hear about it. Um, this has been the American Dismay podcast. I'm Austin Light. American Demon Comics, joined by Brandon Ingram with Dismay Comics. Um, episode 11, I did schedule and tried to post that. It just doesn't look like it ever posted. I don't know what
Hmm.
the hang up was. I haven't looked into it yet, but it might not get posted, but we'll see. This one will go up. All right, everyone. You all have a wonderful evening. Make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.
Take care.